Don't forget to subscribe. 8 characters. John Harper, human, male traits: brave, intelligent, athletic appearance, muscular build, short brown hair, blue eyes. Planet Earth. Lyra, alien, female traits: beautiful, intelligent, agile appearance, bluish skin, long blonde hair, green eyes. Planet Arcania. Location: within a space station hosting the interplanetary competition Olympics. Structure: a vast structure combining the complexity of ancient mazes with advanced technology. Entrance gates, laser barriers, and holographic walls are present. The maze contains both physical and mental challenges. Sections: first section, corridors and rooms filled with initial traps. Contestants adapt to the maze's complexity. Middle section, more complex and deadly traps. Areas filled with monsters and interconnected passages. Final section, the most difficult and dangerous traps. Energy barriers, mind control traps, and direct confrontations with other contestants. 8 characters. Time period: future, a time when technology has reached incredible levels, making interplanetary travel and communication commonplace. Technology: advanced AI, holograms, genetic engineering, space travel, and gravity manipulation are widely used. Society: a federation has been established among species from different planets, and various competitions are held to determine the Federation's leader. Contestants from all over the galaxy have gathered for the grand interplanetary competition. Only one participant from each planet is allowed to compete in this race, which will take place in the galaxy's most challenging maze. The winner of this race will gain control over all the planets. Host: welcome, contestants from all corners of the galaxy. The winner of this great race will become the leader of all planets. Among the contestants are John Harper, a brave soldier representing Earth, and Lyra, a beautiful and intelligent alien woman. Both are determined to win this race. 30 days in the maze. Day 1: traps, spiked pits that open suddenly, swallowing contestants. By the end of the first day, 5 contestants are caught in these traps and lose their lives. John and Lyra's progress. John and Lyra sense the minor tremors from the pits and warn each other, carefully navigating these areas. With John's military training and Lyra's agility, they avoid the pits safely. Contestants: 1 contestant loses balance and falls into a spiked pit as the ground opens. Their screams scare the other contestants. Another contestant, running recklessly, also gets caught in a pit. John and Lyra successfully reach deeper into the maze by the end of the first day, helping each other avoid the spiked pits. Lyra assists John when he gets stuck, and John guides Lyra on where to step safely. Day 2: traps, flames that suddenly burst from the walls, aiming to engulf contestants. By the end of the second day, 10 contestants are burned alive in this trap. John and Lyra's progress. John notices small air vents in the walls and, with Lyra's help, realizes they signal the flame bursts. Timing their movements accurately and protecting each other, they dodge the flames. Contestants: a group of contestants panic and run when the flames burst suddenly. They are caught in the flames and perish. Dodging the flame bursts, John shows Lyra the air vents in the walls. Lyra feels the slight air currents from these vents, identifying the flame sources. The pair navigate away from these vents to avoid the flames. Day 3: traps, acid-filled pools in certain areas of the maze that dissolve anything stepping into them. By the end of the third day, 3 contestants fall into these pools and perish. John and Lyra's progress. Lyra notices the color difference between the acid and regular water. John confirms the danger by throwing a stone into the pool. They use a long plank to safely cross the acid pools. 3 contestants step into the pools without caution and dissolve in the acid. Other contestants witness this horrifying scene, learning to be more careful. While crossing the acid pools, John and Lyra help each other. Lyra identifies the danger of the acid by its color, and John confirms it. They use a long plank to safely cross the pools, supporting each other along the way. Day 4: traps, invisible barriers that block progress and can only be seen from a certain angle. 3 contestants die in these traps. John and Lyra's progress. Lyra, familiar with similar technology on her planet, and John, using his military training, detect these barriers. Observing the slight energy ripples, they find safe paths around them. Contestants who run into the invisible barriers are rendered unconscious by the energy. Trying to push forward only intensifies the barrier's effect. Facing the invisible barriers, Lyra and John move cautiously. Lyra detects the slight energy ripples and shows them to John. Together they navigate around the barriers, finding safe paths. Day 5 traps gravity shifters that suddenly change gravity, flinging contestants to the ceiling. 5 contestants die in these traps. John and Lyra's progress. Lyra spots pressure plates that activate the gravity shifters. John guides them around these plates, avoiding the trap. A contestant steps on a pressure plate and is flung to the ceiling, then falls hard to the ground. Others follow the same fate, not noticing the plates. While avoiding the gravity shifters, Lyra notices the pressure plates on the floor. John guides them around these plates, and together they avoid being flung around. Day 6 traps gas traps that release toxic fumes, causing contestants to pass out. 6 contestants succumb to these traps. John and Lyra's progress. John uses his military training to create makeshift masks. Lyra identifies the source of the gas, and they quickly pass through the affected area. Those exposed to the gas struggle to breathe and collapse. Unconscious, they succumb to the toxic effects. Working together to avoid the gas traps, John and Lyra combine their skills. John creates masks using his military knowledge, and Lyra identifies the gas source, allowing them to pass through quickly. Day 7 traps hypnotic light traps that disorient contestants, causing them to lose their way. 3 more contestants die in these traps. John and Lyra's progress. Lyra uses meditation techniques to resist the hypnotic effects. John learns these techniques from her, allowing them to navigate the light traps safely. Contestants disoriented by the lights, contestants bump into each other and the walls, injuring themselves. Navigating the light traps, Lyra employs meditation techniques. John learns these techniques from her, and together they resist the hypnotic effects, finding their way through. Days 8 to 10 traps cybernetic monsters lurking in the dark corners of the maze. 8 contestants fall victim to these creatures. John and Lyra's progress. John and Lyra move silently, synchronizing their movements. John analyzes the monsters' patterns, and Lyra uses her agility to move quietly. Contestants. The monsters, highly sensitive to movement, detect and capture contestants. The victims cannot escape their attacks. When confronted with cybernetic monsters, John and Lyra move with caution. John analyzes the monsters' movements, and Lyra uses her agility to pass quietly. They synchronize their movements to avoid detection. Days 11 to 15 traps electric traps releasing sudden bursts of electricity, shocking contestants to death. 5 contestants die in these traps. John and Lyra's progress. John and Lyra carefully examine the areas where electricity emerges, avoiding those spots. Lyra uses a special device to detect energy surges. Contestants shocked by the electric bursts. Contestants writhe in pain and die. To avoid the electric traps, John and Lyra move cautiously. Lyra uses a special device to detect energy surges. With this device, they navigate safely through the electric traps. Days 16 to 20 traps mud pits that swallow contestants, causing them to drown. 4 contestants perish in these traps. John and Lyra's progress. Lyra identifies the areas with mud pits, and John uses long poles to measure the depth and find safe paths. Contestants ignoring the mud pits, contestants quickly sink and drown. Avoiding the mud pits, Lyra and John move carefully. Lyra identifies the dangerous areas, and John uses poles to measure the depth, finding safe paths through the pits. Days 21 to 25 traps energy barriers, powerful energy shields that can only be bypassed with specific energy sources. 3 contestants die attempting to pass these barriers. John and Lyra's progress. Lyra uses a special device to decipher the energy barrier frequencies. John identifies the weak points, allowing them to pass through safely. Contestants who hit the energy barriers are incapacitated by the shield's force and die trying to break through. Navigating the energy barriers, Lyra and John proceed with caution. Lyra deciphers the frequencies using a special device, and John finds the weak points, enabling them to pass through safely. Days 26 to 28 traps mind control traps that manipulate contestants' minds, turning them against each other. 2 contestants kill each other under these traps' influence. John and Lyra's progress. Lyra employs mental defense techniques against mind control, teaching John to protect himself from the trap's effects. Contestants under the mind control influence, contestants attack each other, resulting in fatal conflicts. Avoiding mind control traps, Lyra and John move cautiously. Lyra uses mental defense techniques and teaches John, protecting themselves from the trap's influence. Day 29 traps time loop traps that trap contestants in endless loops, preventing them from finding a way out. Two contestants are lost and die in these loops. John and Lyra's progress. Lyra detects the time loop traps and, with John's help, finds a way to avoid the loops. They escape the loop's effects and continue forward. Contestants trapped in the time loops. Contestants wander endlessly, losing energy and eventually perishing. Navigating the time loop traps, Lyra and John move carefully. Lyra detects the loops, and with John's help, they avoid the loops and progress safely. Day 30. Power of love and victory. John and Lyra reach the end of the maze on the final day. The last obstacle is a powerful energy barrier that can only be crossed by holding hands. John, hold my hand, Lyra. Together we can overcome this final obstacle. Lyra, I trust you, John. With the power of our love, we will succeed. Holding hands, they cross the energy barrier and reach the maze's exit. Spectators from all over the galaxy cheer for them. John and Lyra celebrate their victory together. As leaders of all planets, they bring peace, harmony, and justice. They announce their union with a grand wedding, spreading joy across the galaxy. Host John and Lyra, the new leaders of the galaxy. A symbol of peace and harmony among planets. John and Lyra's journey has transformed the fate of the galaxy. Their story becomes a legend, inspiring future generations across all planets. Don't forget to subscribe.